Chapter 51, New Tactics. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Unbelievable, Xue Chuan muttered, finally getting what Fong Li was on about. Time out. Tang Yan called it early, just a few minutes into the game. Clearly, she had something new up her sleeve. Tian, you're the man. The guys from the team were all over Summer as soon as he hit the sidelines, handing him water and towels. Meanwhile, over on the sidelines. Oh, brother Tian, remember what this girl told you, okay? No way, brother Tian's mine. Don't even think about it. Didn't you see him looking at me? That the girls from the Lit and Arts department were swarming him, fighting each other to give Xia a back massage. Back in the game, Xue Chuan and the rest of the team were fired up. Fong Li brought the ball up, and all five of them stormed the Lit and Arts side. Xia went right at Fong Li, who quickly dished the ball off. It moved quickly, pass after pass. That's when Xia Tian realized they were set up like a staircase, passing instead of dribbling to advance. Swish, *7-9, Xue Chuan just nailed a three-pointer, Lit and Arts inbound. This time, instead of playing defense, the other four guys swarmed Summer. Fong Li guarded the other three. Seemed simple, but Fong Li could handle those girls easily. As long as Summer wasn't getting the ball, Tang Yan's plan was working. No shot, no score. Tang Yan's got a good head on her shoulders, coming up with something like this, Yang Bugue observed, watching the plays unfold. But regret, aren't they worried the Lit and Arts players will make a quick pass? Besides this basketball freak, none of them know how to play at all. They're already losing it, watching Summer get mobbed. It's game over. Yang Bugue was excited, her eyes glued on Summer. I can't wait to see how he gets out of this mess. That's low. The basketball team is playing dirty, straight up fouling him. The Lit and Arts girls were furious, shouting from the stands. Even the crowd was booing, but the basketball team didn't care. All that mattered was winning. They weren't using any truly dirty tricks, just sticking to Tang Yan's strategy. Seeing that Summer was covered, the guy inbounding the ball didn't know where to pass, so he just tossed it out. Fong Li saw his chance, stole the ball, and slammed it home. 9-9, tie game. The basketball team's tactics were working. Lit and Arts inbound. Just as the four guys were about to dogpile Summer again, he took off, heading straight for the guy with the ball, who grinned like he'd won the lottery and fired it to Summer. No hesitation. Summer spun and jumped. It happened so fast, the defenders couldn't keep up. But they knew there was no way Summer could pull that shot off, not from that far out, not with no setup. When they landed, they were way out of bounds. Further than before, tougher shot than before, *swish, *12-9, it went in. Xue Chuan and his guys stopped in their tracks. A wave of dread washed over them. That's my man. Go, Summer. Linger screamed. His footwork is weird, and he only uses the tip of his toe when he shoots. He tries to hide it, but if you look close, you can see it every time. Yun Miao observed Summer's movements. Watching real close, huh? The girl with the kiss-burnt skin shot Yun Miao a look. Awesome. He just turned and nailed it. Invincible. Yang Bugue was practically jumping up and down. So handsome. Xingro sounded like she'd turned into a teenager again, crushing hard. Show off, Yi Qingxue grumbled. She didn't like all these women ogling Xia, especially Xingro. Qingxue, I'm starting to think you lied to me. You said he was just good at studying, but he's been full of surprises since I met him, Bing Xin said, eyeing Yi Qingxue. Is he Superman or something? Tang Yan was at a loss for words. The game went on, the basketball team glued to Summer, and the first quarter ended, 30-18, Lit and Arts was ahead. Even though they were tailing him, Summer kept running circles around them. His incredible long-range shots were too much for the basketball team to handle. Tang Yan needed a new strategy. Summer, you were amazing out there, Xingro said, approaching him. Here, have some water, Yi Qingxue said quickly, stepping between Summer and Xingro. Zheng Ro smiled slightly at Yi Qingshue's actions, and didn't say anything. Yi Qingxue was being way too obvious, nobody could miss her hostility. "Cousin, who's that?" Xia asked, pointing toward Yun Miao in the stands. "Boy, you're always looking at beautiful women. Aren't I enough for you?" Yi Qingxue said, annoyed. "Her name is Yun Miao. She's Jianghai University's #1 beauty. She's been #1 since freshman year, and she's a junior now. Nobody can touch her," Bing Xian explained. "Yun Miao," Xia repeated, nodding. He'd remember that name. Yun Miao was more than just beautiful. He couldn't see through her clothes with his clairvoyance, which meant something was definitely up with her. "Keep staring. She won't look at you," Yi Qingxue muttered under her breath, seeing Xia's focus on Yun Miao. "Sis Miao, he's checking you out." "You've still got it," Ling'er teased. Yun Miao didn't respond. "Too bad for him." "Sis Miao doesn't seem interested," Ling'er added with a smile. The second quarter began, still 4-on-1, but this time the 4 defenders were glued to Summer, giving him no room to catch and shoot. Summer wasn't sweating it. He didn't want to go overboard, draw too much attention. After all, not everyone knows about martial arts these days. His feet moved, dancing the Cloud Immortal steps, and the 4 defenders tracked his every move. Summer slowed down on purpose. Many Cloud Immortal steps. Yun Miao's eyes widened. She'd finally recognized the legendary footwork, the Xiyin Shelong's Cloud Immortal step. Chapter 52, Slam Dunk. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xia Shelong's many Cloud Immortal step was his signature move, hailed as the best footwork around. They called it the Immortal Step because anyone who used it looked like they were floating down from the heavens. Xia moved deliberately slowly, each step smooth and deliberate. A few guys shadowed him closely, but anyone could see he was totally calm. Yun Miao, who never usually cared about games, was glued to Xia. It's been forever since those scrolls went missing. Still no leads. I heard a while back the Tongtian fragment scroll was with Xia Shelong, but he's already dead. She hadn't thought she'd find any news on the Babel fragment so easily, but this basketball game had given her a new lead. Xia Tianlong had a descendant, which meant there was a good chance he had the Tongtian fragment scroll too. "Ling'er, what's his name?" Yun Miao asked. "Wow, Sister Miao is actually interested. That's a first." Ling'er gave her a curious look. She'd never seen Yun Miao care about anything besides the Tongtian fragment. Even Huakushi, standing nearby, was surprised. She had no clue what Yun Miao liked. Yun Miao didn't reply. "Okay, his name's Xia. And rumor has it he's Yi Qingshue's boyfriend." Ling'er knew Yun Miao's temper, so she shut up, afraid of annoying her. Xia Shelong. Yun Miao repeated quietly, filing the name away. 33-18. Xia somehow slipped past the 4 defenders, snatched the ball from Fongli, and sank a basket, the basketball team inbound. Xue Chuan dribbled, and the other 4 sprinted towards the art department's basket. Xue Chuan pulled up just before half-court. What's he doing? Is he really shooting? Did the basketball god mess with Xue Chuan's head? Half-court shot. They've all lost it. The whole team's gone crazy. Boom, the shot went in, but it wasn't Xue Chuan's. Fongli had slammed it home. Fongli was living up to his future star hype, pulling off a crazy alley-oop while his teammates shielded him. That was Tang Yan's new strategy, a dual system of defense and offense. 4 guys swarmed Xia, keeping him from attacking. Tang Yan couldn't believe her plan was actually stopping his shots. A coach's job was to read the game and find the enemy's weak spots. Even though Xia seemed untouchable, he was still human and bound by gravity. "Nice one." Xue Chuan gave Fongli a thumbs up. A high-altitude catch and an alley-oop. Not easy to pull off. Probably only Fongli could do that. I want flowers. And applause. I know I'm handsome, but I'm just trying to be a quiet beauty over here. Fong Li struck a pose. Let's tie this game. Xue Chuan yelled. They were totally focused on shutting down Xia Xia, and the score closed fast. By the start of the fourth quarter, it was 99-120, the basketball team in the lead. Xia Xia was incredible, but the basketball team was throwing everything they had at him, never letting up on defense. The other four art department players couldn't stop the basketball team's offensive onslaught. The art department was struggling. You're doing great, keep it up. Victory is ours. Tang Yan encouraged them. They were soaked in sweat. They couldn't handle such intense defense and offense, but they were determined. Xia Xia's doing everything he can, Yi Qingxue said, trying to reassure them. It's almost unfair, the way he's playing practically alone, Zheng Ro said. The other four were basically just standing there. You guys don't have any faith in Xia. I know he'll win. Bing Xian's eyes were full of hope. She'd seen him turn the impossible into reality too many times. He's done everything he can. It's obvious how this is going to end. Tang Yan's plan has shut him down. She's got a knack for this. No wonder she became the Jianghai University team's coach so quickly. Yang Bugue had to admit Tang Yan had talent. Her strategy had shut down Xia Xia's super long shots, blocks, and steals. What a shame, he's going to lose, Linger said sadly. Maybe not, Yun Miao replied, and Linger and Huakushi stared at her. You still think Xia Xia can win? Huakushi asked. How about a bet? Yun Miao, who rarely said much, wanted to bet. That had Huakushi intrigued. What are the stakes? I say he'll win. Why? Let's talk about the bet first. If I'm right, you introduce me to him. I'm interested. Huakushi and Linger were shocked. The campus queen just said she's interested in Xia Xia. Deal. What if you're wrong? I'll do you a favor, something I'm capable of, Yun Miao said. You're on. The fourth quarter began, and the basketball team went back to the same strategy. Let's go. Let's win this. Xue Chuan tossed the ball outside the center line. Fong Li was ready for another alley-oop, boom, blocked. Xia Xia came out of nowhere and swatted the ball away. Fong Li went down hard, but his teammates caught him. Xia Xia snagged the ball. Instead of shooting, he dribbled. Dribbling? You're not getting past me. Xue Chuan charged at Xia Xia, but as he got close, Xia Xia disappeared. The basketball disappeared with him. Behind you. Tang Yan screamed, too late. Xia Xia was already past the three-point line. Everyone thought he'd shoot, but he jumped and flew forward, slamming the ball down into the basket, bang, it was a windmill dunk. Chapter 53, Person Falling from the Sky. You are listening at novelfull.audio. First slam dunk of the summer. Before this, he was all about the long shots, but this time, he actually dunked, taking off from way behind the three-point line, Air Jordan. That's what everyone thought, this summer's slam dunk was a huge windmill from the three-point line. It was so powerful, it shook the whole basket. What a display of power. If his shooting before had impressed everyone, this dunk planted a flag in their minds, declaring him unbeatable. The game was stopped, the basket needed replacing. That was insane. Even better than Air Jordan. So he was holding back all this time. He's a true basketball god. The stands erupted in cheers, chanting God of Basketball. Is he even human? Tang Yan asked, stunned. She couldn't believe what she'd just seen. Awesome. Bing Xian, Yi Qingxue, and Zheng Ro hugged, but Yi Qingxue quickly pulled away from Zheng Ro, realizing the situation. Still, they were all thrilled for him. Even Yi Qingxue was shocked at how powerful her cousin had become. He had earned the title of God of Basketball. So strong. So cool. Linger yelled excitedly, Yun Miao nodded, now even more certain. She'd seen Xia's dribbling and knew he was using the floating cloud immortal step, a unique footwork only Xian could pull off. Even the Huat-kissed girl had to admit Xia was something special. Regret, am I seeing things? Nope, I saw it too. Incredible. He's going to be a major CBA superstar. Yang Bugue replied, equally hyped. With the basket replaced quickly, the game resumed, and the basketball team huddled up. The score was 101 to 120, they were still up by 18. If they stuck to their game plan, they could still win. They couldn't afford to lose. Xuechuan dribbled again and tossed the ball high, boom. Swish. 104 to 120, Summer had completely cracked their strategy, and the game was back on, 107-120. 110-120, even the usually resourceful Tang Yen was out of ideas. 140-120, the literature and art department won. Summer's explosive performance in the last quarter sealed the deal. After the game, Xuechuan and the others were silent. Even the usually boastful Fong Li had nothing to say. We lost, sis, Fong Li said back in the rest area, defeated. You gave it your all. Get some rest. Tang Yen knew the loss wasn't due to any one person's mistake. They were simply outmatched. All five had played their hearts out at full intensity, they were exhausted. Even though they lost, they weren't giving up, so Tang Yen held back her comments. The literature and art department surrounded Summer, celebrating their win with hugs. From the stands, the Huat-kissed girl shook her head, amused. You won. Tomorrow night, then. Yun Miao nodded slightly and left with Linger. Regret, where are you going? What the? A scream erupted behind Summer. He felt someone falling from the stands and instinctively caught them. It was a woman, and his hand landed right on her butt. Not bad, he thought. She was gorgeous, but she was wearing a track suit that hid her figure. Sister Lin fell from heaven. Sister Lin. Summer blurted out. Not Sister Lin, Sister Yang. The woman stepped out of his arms. Hi, I'm Yang Bugue. Oh, a younger sister Yang fell from heaven. Younger sister Yang. Summer repeated. Who are you? Yi Qingxue asked, suspicious. She was starting to resent all these beautiful women suddenly appearing around Summer, first Xing Ro, now Yang Bugue. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm the general manager of Yang's basketball company, Yang Bugue said, handing over a card that read Talent Scout. Oh. Summer didn't take the card, but instead looked Yang Bugue up and down, letting his eyes do the talking. You're a basketball prodigy. I can get you into the CBA and make you a star overnight. Yang Bugue didn't seem fazed by Summer's blatant stare. She was used to it, though usually people were more discreet. Not interested. Get out of the way, Yi Qingxue snapped, throwing the business card aside. You're Yi Qingxue. I've heard of you. Don't worry, I'm not trying to cause trouble. I just want to help him. Yang Bugue assumed Yi Qingxue was jealous and explained her intentions. Looks like things are pretty lively here, the Huat-kissed girl said, appearing from behind. Sister Kiss. The literature and art department clearly respected her. From the Hua family? Xing Ro asked, eyeing the newcomer. I didn't expect Xing Ro, the powerhouse, to be here watching his game, Huat-kissed girl replied with a nod. There weren't many important people in Jianghai City she didn't know. I came with Summer. Xing Ro's words carried a double meaning, which made Yi Qingxue uncomfortable. In her mind, Summer should be her boyfriend, but he had caused a scene at Yi Qingxue's birthday party the other night. Summer, I'm warning you. Don't mess with my girl Qingxue, or you'll regret it, Huat-kissed girl said, getting in Summer's face. You're too short. Don't talk to me, Summer scoffed, turning away. Chapter 54, Fight. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hey, shorty, Xia's words stunned everyone. Who was this shorty he was talking about? There wasn't anyone known by that nickname at Jianghai University, yet Xia just called her that in front of everyone. Did he really mean it? Even the girl he'd called Shorty, the fire kiss girl, froze, her face flushing. She'd never been so embarrassed. Okay, maybe she wasn't exactly stacked, but it wasn't like she was flat as a board. And here's Xia Tian, blurting out in front of a crowd, "You're small, I don't have time for you." What, did small-chested women not have any rights? This was the fire kiss girl, president of the Jianghai University student government, and the big sister behind Huiyan Corporation, and she was being dissed by Xia. "Kiss, I'm so sorry." "He didn't mean it," Yi Qingxue quickly said, stepping forward to smooth things over. "For Qingxue's sake, I'll let it slide," the fire kiss girl replied, regaining her composure. She definitely knew how to play the game. Most people would expect Xia to get reamed, but he was actually alright. Tang Yan and the basketball team showed up then, too. Now that the fire kiss girl was here, they couldn't hide, even if they wanted to. If they lost the game, Xue Chuan would have to pay up on his bet, he'd have to kneel and apologize. "We lost," Tang Yan admitted, looking grim. Spotting Tang Yan, Xia eagerly turned to him, his eyes lighting up. "Yo, what's up?" "What's what?" Tang Yan shot him a glare. "You forgot. We had a deal. You have to say hi when you see me," Xia reminded him. Tang Yan's forehead crinkled in exasperation. "Hey, dude. That's the ticket," Xia replied, nodding with satisfaction. "Xue Chuan, you lost," the fire kiss girl said, her voice cold. Xue Chuan's heart sank when he saw the fire kiss girl. "Yo, kiss. Don't butt in." "Xue Chuan, I'm talking to you." "Man up," the fire kiss girl snapped, fixing Xue Chuan with a hard stare. "Fine, I lost," Xue Chuan said, straightening his shoulders. He'd made the bet, and he'd face the music instead of hiding behind Tang Yan. "Hey, kiss, forget about it," Yi Qingxue pleaded. "No way," the fire kiss girl said firmly. "Okay, fine. I admit it, I'm not the type to back down from a bet. I said I'd kneel and apologize, and that's what I'll do," Xue Chuan declared. "Hold up, that's not what I'm talking about. I remember our bet was that if you lost, you'd throw a banquet and apologize to Qingxue," the fire kiss girl said, shaking her head. "A banquet?" The basketball team members stared, mouths agape. "Okay, kiss, when do you want it?" Tang Yan asked, smiling. She knew the fire kiss girl was letting them off easy. It probably had something to do with Yi Qingxue's plea, so she gave Yi Qingxue a grateful look. Yi Qingxue nodded slightly in acknowledgement. "That's right, we're all in this together. We should be helping each other, not fighting amongst ourselves. The basketball team will make amends for this incident." "Qingxue, is that good with you?" the fire kiss girl asked, turning to Yi Qingxue. "Happy, how could I complain about Kiss's decision?" Yi Qingxue replied with a faint smile. "As for Team Leader Li, he's out of the student government. And the sports department is temporarily disbanded. Everyone involved from the art department will lose 2 credits, and they're banned from joining the student government for life." Her decisions were decisive, and she had a keen sense of balance. She'd also heard about the incident at the karaoke place, and the actions of Team Leader Li and his crew had embarrassed her, but she hadn't dealt with the sports department back then. But now the sports department went to make trouble, so she had to act, and dismissed the sports department outright. "The banquet's tomorrow night," the fire kiss girl announced casually. "Xia has to come too." Everyone turned to look at Xia, but he was staring at the stands. There was only one person sitting there, wearing a hat that hid their face. "Sis Ro, you stay with them. Don't wander off," Xia instructed, dashing towards the stands. There were railings on the stands and below, a drop of more than 10 feet, but Xia leaped and grabbed the railing with both hands. That's when Xue Chuan and the others realized how high he could jump. Xia Tian pulled himself up into the stands with both hands, while the figure there turned and ran. Xia followed right behind. Everyone watched Xia with bewildered expressions as he disappeared from the basketball arena. "What's going on?" Yang asked, looking confused. Nothing. An old friend showed up, and Xia is catching up with them, Xingro explained. She knew why Xia was doing it, and that person had to be from Quicksand. Yi Qingxue didn't believe Xingro's explanation, but she knew Xingro wouldn't tell her anything if she asked. You're all tired. Go pack up and go home to rest, the Fire Kiss girl said, looking at everyone. After Xia chased the person out, he stuck to him like glue. The second-level killer must have been wearing some high-tech shoes, because he was faster than a motorcycle on flat ground, but Xia kept pace easily. They were racing. The Quicksand assassin was trying to avoid populated areas, so he stuck to back alleys and deserted paths. What's he up to? Wasn't he here to kill Xingro? Why is he running? Xia wondered to himself. If this was some kind of diversion, it didn't make sense. If there were no new investments, Quicksand wouldn't keep sending people, and they wouldn't keep working without getting paid. The second-level killer in front of him was the last one sent by Quicksand. As long as he took out this guy, Xingro would be safe from assassination attempts. The chase ended in a deserted area. You're pretty bold to follow me. Aren't you afraid of an ambush? The man in gray said calmly. As long as I kill you, Sis-Ro will be safe, Xia replied. He had a simple philosophy: eliminate the threat, and Xingro would be safe. That's why he wouldn't let this second-level killer get away. You're overthinking this. Sure, the 5 elders of the Zheng family could afford a second-level killer, but the moment they were arrested, it meant they were finished. Quicksand isn't a charity. We're not going to keep working for a bunch of losers, the man in gray said, looking at Xia coldly. I'm here for you. Me? Xia asked, surprised. That's right. You're his son, and you messed up our operations. You have to pay, the man in gray said, drawing a cyan dagger. It was the Qinyin dagger, and an identical dagger appeared in Xia's hand. Chapter 55, Kill the Level 2 Killer. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the first exchange, Xia gauged his opponent's strength. The guy was just as strong and fast as he was. Xia wasn't going all out yet, but he figured this was just the tip of the iceberg. Becoming a second-tier Quicksand killer was a game-changer. The difference between them and the third-tier guys was huge. The second-tier killer said, surprised that he didn't take Xia out in the first round. You actually blocked my attack. Guess you must have taken out those third-tier killers. The second-tier killer brandished his Qinyin dagger. Seeing the same dagger in Xia's hand, he knew that Shadow was dead. The Qinyin dagger was custom-made by Quicksand. Not just anyone could get their hands on one. Usually, only killers ranked second-tier or higher carried them. Shadow only had it for a special reason. That's right. Those guys had it coming. Xia would never let anyone hurt his woman. Even though Xingro denied it, in his heart, she was already his. You're gonna die today. Sooner or later, you'll be nothing but trouble. The second-tier killer didn't want to see Xia get any stronger, especially since he was that guy's son. So, Quicksand had something to do with my father's death. Xia had never known how his father died. You don't need to know about that. You and your father are night and day. In front of him, I was a worm, not even worth looking at. In front of me, you're just a corpse that hasn't keeled over yet. The second-tier killer wasn't about to waste any more time talking and rushed at Xia, the Qinyin dagger arcing in his hand. Xia had to admit, this second-tier killer was the real deal. If he hadn't leveled up, he would be a goner. Clang. Clang, star. After a few exchanges, they both backed off. Didn't expect you to be hiding so much. You're at the early yellow level, but we got intel saying you were a nobody. The second-tier killer gripped his Qinyin dagger tighter. Early yellow level. Xia figured that must be how they ranked martial arts skill, but he didn't know the specifics. I might be early yellow level too, but you're not the first early yellow expert I've taken down. A flicker of cunning flashed in the second-tier killer's eyes as he threw two meteor darts with both hands. With his enhanced vision, Xia saw where the darts were going, not at him, but to either side. The darts were just a distraction. The real threat was the thin wire between them. It was so fine that, without his special vision, he never would have seen it. Xia ducked, narrowly avoiding the wire. It sliced clean through a sapling behind him. How's that possible? The second-tier killer stared at Xia in disbelief. This move was his ace in the hole, and Xia dodged it. How did my father die? Tell me, and you live. Xia looked at the second-tier killer, his voice like ice. His whole aura had shifted. He'd been masking his power, keeping his Tianxing in the first stage. It could disguise his level, hiding it by one tier. Your late-stage Huang level. How? The second-tier killer couldn't wrap his head around it. The guy in front of him was a late-stage Huang level master. Gotta get out of here. His first thought was escape. Late Huang level was way out of his league. The second-tier killer whirled to run. Xia used Manyun Xianbu to close the distance, cutting him off. The second-tier killer reacted instantly, stabbing at Xia with his dagger. Just as the dagger was about to pierce Xia's fingers clamped down on the blade. Thunk. The Qinyun dagger in Xia's hand slashed across the second-tier killer's throat. The dagger was razor-sharp. The second-tier killer fell into a pool of blood. Xia didn't bother with the body, but took the Qinyun dagger and the hidden mechanism in his shoes. Hey, Ro, it's taken care of. You won't have any more trouble. I gotta head home, so I won't come back with you. After hanging up, Xia headed toward his old house. It was almost afternoon, and he didn't want to keep his master waiting. After walking for 2 hours, Xia got home. He grabbed a quick bite of lunch and started training. Get ready for more of yesterday's drill. Yin wanted Xia to attack him while he stood his ground. If Xia could make Yin move even half a step, he'd pass. Okay. Xia started attacking, his footwork light and quick. He kept his full power under wraps, masking his inner strength in the first realm. He knew his master wasn't training his inner strength so much as his attack style. Even if his inner strength had improved, it couldn't compare to his master's. If his master found out he'd gotten that much stronger, he'd get suspicious, maybe even make the training harder. So Xia only used the power of the first level of Tianqing to attack around Yin Ye, using Lingxi and Manyun Xianbu. Yin Ye held his famous sword, Yuanhong, in his right hand and deflected Xia's attacks with his left. Xia kept coming, tireless. Yin Ye stayed on the defensive. Xia didn't realize that his attack speed and methods were constantly evolving. Experience was a person's greatest asset. Xia was leveling up fast, but he was short on combat experience. After 3 hours of attacking, Yin Ye left. Xia kept practicing. Even though he hadn't won, the fight had given him a lot of valuable experience. Elder Su, bring Xiaofei to my place. Xia called Mr. Shui. Xiaofei was with him now, so he wanted to teach him some skills. What Xiaofei picked up was up to him. A teacher can only point the way, the student has to walk it. Xiaofei's ruthlessness was his defining trait, and Xia was looking forward to seeing what he would become. Even though he was exhausted, Xia still had a steady stream of energy coming from his dantian, replenishing his strength. He was soon back to full power and kept practicing. An hour later, veteran Shui Gao Fei brought him over. I'll come pick him up early tomorrow morning. After saying goodbye to Xia, Mr. Su drove off. Chapter 56, Beauties. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiaofei, ready to learn some martial arts. Today's the day. Xia was gonna start teaching Xiaofei, focusing on the magic of sleep. He knew that even if he tried, Xiaofei wouldn't be able to pick up the complicated moves and footwork. Stuff like the Manyun Xianbu required a deep understanding of the Book of Changes from a young age, and Lingxi needed a solid grasp of human anatomy. the key was to build up internal strength, and then any move would be easy to master. Thank you, master. Gao Fei knelt and kowtowed 3 times to Xia Xia. Alright, get up. I can only get you started. The rest is up to you and how hard you train. I hope you'll really put in the effort. Xia Xia nodded. Don't worry, master, I will. Gao Fei admired Xia Xia more than anyone. He was simple that way, treat him well, and he'd treat you well in return. He had no parents, Xia Xia was the closest thing to family he had. He'd already entrusted his life to him. Xia Xia's training method was pretty straightforward, exhaust Gao Fei first, then help him get into a deep sleep state. It was a slightly unorthodox approach, and Gao Fei went along with it. Even though he couldn't quite pull off all the movements, he gave it his all, things like one-handed handstand jumps, one-finger push-ups. Gao Fei's perseverance was impressive. After just half an hour, he was completely drained, but he didn't quit. He just kept pushing through the pain. Finally, after an hour, Gao Fei couldn't even stand. Okay, listen up. Do exactly as I say. Seeing that the time was right, Xia Xia began to teach Gao Fei the heavenly awakening jutsu. Xiao Fei didn't disappoint. He didn't quite reach Xia Xia's advanced sleep state, but he did achieve a pretty deep state of relaxation. This showed just how talented Xiao Fei was. He wasn't just determined, he also had a real knack for cultivation. That night, Xia Xia stayed put, practicing non-stop. Whenever his body was about to give out, the ancient Buddha relic in his dantian would replenish his energy. He didn't fall asleep until late. After working on the heavenly awakening jutsu, early the next morning, Mr. Su picked up Gao Fei. Before he left, Xia Xia gave Gao Fei the Qingyun dagger and the gadgets hidden in the second-level killer's shoes. Xia Xia hung around. Xing Rou's situation was resolved, and he had nothing urgent to do. The college entrance exam would be a breeze, no need to study at all, everything seemed etched into his memory. He'd tested it, and he couldn't forget anything. He kept up his training. Xia Xia didn't want to take shortcuts on his cultivation path, it would only backfire. You're my everything, my main squeeze. Cousin, what's up? Don't forget to invite the basketball club for dinner tonight. Will there be hot babes? Only hot babes. Then I'm in. Remember what I told you, just say you're my boyfriend. Don't spill the beans. Ugh, this again. After hanging up, Xia Xia went back to his training. He didn't want to waste a single second. He'd started late, so he had to make up for it with extra effort. The necklace around his neck held the memories of his parents. It looked dull now, like something you'd find at a flea market, but it was a keepsake from his mom and dad. After the necklace healed his wound, all the spiritual energy inside was gone, and the bead in the middle contained a broken scroll. In the afternoon, Yin Ye arrived. Today's my last day training you. I'm leaving Jianghai City tomorrow. Watch out for quicksand, Yin Ye said casually. Yeah, thanks a lot for teaching me all this time. Xia Xia was genuinely grateful. Without Yin Ye, he wouldn't have learned all these skills from his father, or even survived his encounter with quicksand. They went back to their usual routine, Xia Xia attacking, Yin Ye defending. 2 hours later, Xia Xia still hadn't managed to move Yin Ye an inch. Then, Yin Ye was gone. Who knew when they'd see each other again? Xia Xia continued to practice on his own. He had some time to kill before the evening. Even if only a few people showed up, as long as there were some beautiful women, he'd be happy. After 3 hours, Xia Xia stopped training. He went to the little pool in the woods to wash up and put on clean clothes before heading into the city. He preferred walking these days as part of his training. Since Xuechuan was apologizing, they couldn't just go to some hole in the wall. But Huakushi refused to go to a fancy restaurant either, so they settled on a mid-range place with a nice atmosphere and private rooms. Xia Xia arrived early and wandered around the neighborhood while he waited for everyone else. Xia Xia, we're here. Thought it was his cousin and Bing Xian. Why'd you come so early? Yi Qingxue asked. Perfect timing, Xia Xia said. We'll go in first. Sister Kiss just called and said she'll be here soon. The three of them went into the private room. A few minutes later, Tang Yen and Xue Chuan arrived. Not many people came this time. Yi Qingxue and Bing Xian were from the literature and art department, and Tang Yen and Xue Chuan from the basketball team. When Xia saw Tang Yen, his face lit up. Tang Yen knew exactly what he meant. Give your husband a kiss. Coming right up, Xia said dramatically. Qingxue, you should keep a closer eye on him. He's always out and about. Aren't you worried he'll run off with someone? The beef between Tang Yen and Yi Qingxue had long been squashed. Yi Qingxue's generosity had won Tang Yen over. I can't control him, Yi Qingxue said simply. Little wife, I really envy you, Xia said, looking at Tang Yen. Why do you envy me? Tang Yen asked. I envy you for being my little wife. I'm even jealous of myself. Shameless. Tang Yen turned away. Yep, look how fair you are, Xia said, grinning. Humph, Tang Yen scoffed. I'm too lazy to deal with you. What's all the fun about? The door to the private room opened, and Huakushi arrived, but she wasn't alone. She brought two other people with her. When everyone in the room saw them, they were stunned. It was Jianghai University's top beauty, Yun Miao. Hey, cutie. To outsiders, Xia's eyes seemed glazed over, but inside his mind, he was trying to see through her clothes. She actually came, and she came with Huakushi. Chapter 57, Are You Crazy? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shaman, try to act like you have some class. The woman he'd kissed, nicknamed Fire Kiss, chided him when she saw Xia ogling everyone like a pig. You're ugly, don't even talk to me. Even though Xia said that, he still turned around. He still couldn't figure out what she was hiding under those clothes, which was bizarre. You. Fire Kiss was ready to tear him apart. Hey, Kiss, don't just stand there. Come on in and sit down, Yi Qingxue said, trying to steer the conversation in another direction. Basketball god, I'm your biggest fan. Linger ran up to Xia playfully. Why are you wearing a disguise? Xia saw right away that Linger was using an acupoint technique to change her appearance. Ah. Linger was a little surprised. Xia Tian, don't be rude, Yi Qingxue said, thinking Xia was calling Linger ugly. I'm not being rude, she really changed her face. Xia said seriously, hearing Xia's words, everyone stared at Linger. Well, I'm kind of self-conscious about how ugly I am, so. Linger admitted. Liar. Xia Tian turned to Yun Miao. I know I'm gorgeous, so you don't have to stare. Are you coming on to me? I'll have you know, I'm a man of principle, but if you really try to win me over, I'll probably say yes. Even Yun Miao was stunned. Was this next-level shamelessness? You're unbelievable, Tang Yen snapped. Don't you know you're supposed to respect your elders? Xia picked Tang Yen up, put her across his lap, and spanked her, smack. It all happened so fast that Tang Yen didn't have time to react. You gonna be disrespectful again, smack. Xia smacked Tang Yan's butt again. Xia Tian, you're going too far, Fire Kiss said. She had a short fuse. Xia was supposedly Yi Qingxue's boyfriend, yet he was getting handsy with Tang Yen right in front of everyone. It was infuriating. Yi Qingxue was her best friend. How am I going too far? Xia looked up at Fire Kiss. Did I steal your internet? Eat your dinner. Am I holding your wife? You. No one had ever talked to her like that. What are you? Look at you, you look like a woman, but you're so flat-chested you don't even need a bra. Xia continued. I'm gonna kill you. Fire Kiss lashed out with a kick. At that close range, it would have been impossible to dodge under normal circumstances. Yi Qingxue stood up to intervene, but she saw something else entirely. Fire Kiss's legs were now being manipulated by Xia Xia's hands. And you? On a hot day like this, who else wears pants over their skirt? Let me go. Fire Kiss yelled. Okay, you want me to let go, I'll let go. As soon as Xia Xia released her, Fire Kiss lost her balance and landed on the ground. She was no longer acting tough. You dropped me on purpose. You told me to let go, Xia Xia replied. Let me go. Tang Yen was still on Xia Tian's lap. Are you going to mouth off to your elders in the future? Xia Xia asked. Let me go, that smack. No, no, I won't, Tang Yen said quickly. She was genuinely scared of Xia Tian. Xue Chuan, standing off to the side, was green with envy. They were both men, both surrounded by beautiful women, but Xia Xia was playing the field, while he could only watch. Kiss, get up, Yi Qingxue said, helping Fire Kiss up. You just wait, Fire Kiss glared at Xia Xia. Don't be angry, I'll apologize for him, Yi Qingxue said, not wanting Fire Kiss to cause trouble for Xia Tian. Qingxue, how can you put up with him? He's a total player. Didn't you see what he was just doing to Tang Yen? Fire Kiss said to Yi Qingxue. You've got it all wrong, he's my cousin, Yi Qingxue explained. Cousin? Fire Kiss was taken aback. Not a boyfriend? Then why was he at your birthday party? I asked him to be there, Yi Qingxue said. She'd asked Xia Xia to act as a shield. Since he's your cousin, then forget it. But Tang Yan's my friend, too. If you hurt Tang Yan, I'll get you, Fire Kiss warned Xia Tian. Kiss, you've got it all wrong. There's nothing between us, Tang Yan said quickly. When she heard Yi Qingxue say that Xia Xia was her cousin, she felt a little happy, though she couldn't explain why. Did she like Xia Tian? Impossible. Absolutely not. She hated Xia Tian more than anyone, even if he was the last man on earth, she wouldn't like him, and after the way Xia Xia had treated her just now, she hated him even more. Humph. Fire Kiss glared at Xia Xia. I don't think I need to introduce you. You all know each other. Everyone present was a big shot at Jianghai University. They didn't usually hang out, but they'd all heard of each other. You're not his girlfriend, and you're not either. That means my idol doesn't have a girlfriend. Ling Er looked at Yi Qingxue, then at Tang Yan, then turned to Xia Xia. Idol, can I be your girlfriend? Direct, too direct, seeing Ling Er's straightforwardness, Bing Xian wondered what would happen if it were her, but she quickly dismissed the idea. Take off that disguise, and I'll see if you're pretty. If you're hot, I might consider you as a concubine, Xia Xia said solemnly. Why just an alternate? Ling Er pouted. Because you're out of shape, Xia Xia said. Who says I'm not in good shape? Ling Er puffed out her chest. I don't believe it. Xia Xia couldn't see through Ling Er's clothes, so naturally he couldn't tell what her figure was like. Then I'll take it off for you, okay? Ling Er said, looking at Xia Xia with a smile. Okay, okay. Xia Xia looked at Ling Er expectantly. Nah, there are too many people here. I only want to show you alone, Ling Er said, smiling playfully. Ling Er, don't be a troublemaker, Yun Miao said softly. She rarely spoke much, Xue Chuan was feeling totally defeated. This dinner was supposed to be an apology, but it had turned into a circus. Xia Xia's approach was simply unbeatable. He was shamelessly bulldozing his way through everything. You are my little apple. Who is it? Master, it's me. Your cutest, most beautiful, kindest, and gentlest disciple. Are you out of your mind? Xia Xia hung up the phone. Chapter 58, Do You Need Help? You are listening at novelfull.audio. You're it, my New York apple. Yo, who's this? Boss, don't hang up. It's Chili. Oh, it's you. What's up? Boss, you free tonight? I wanted to buy you dinner. Gotta ask you something. Nah, I'm good. Summer hung up. Cough. Xue Chuan, sitting in the corner, cleared his throat. Tonight's dinner is to apologize to Yi Qingxue. I messed up with what I said last time, my bad. Hearing that, everyone remembered the real reason they were there, knock, 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 star. Come in. Excuse me, sorry to bother you, the hotel manager said, opening the door a crack. Could you possibly switch rooms? Switch? Why? We haven't even eaten yet, Xue Chuan frowned. This private room was the best in the whole place. So sorry, but someone specifically requested this room. Just tell them someone's already here, Xue Chuan retorted. I'm really sorry, but, these guys, we can't afford to cross them. Could you be understanding? Hey, Kiss, let's just move, Yi Qingxue said, seeing the manager was in a bind. Oh, they're not to be messed with. I'm easy to mess with. Kiss grumbled. She usually wouldn't start a scene, but when she did, it was a real show. What's the hold-up? We want this room. Four lowlifes swaggered in. Li, I'm working on it, just a sec, the manager said obsequiously. Working on what? Li spat, then his eyes landed on the women. Absolute knockouts, every one of them. No guy could stay cool seeing them. Damn, look at all the hot chicks. Dude, no kidding, a yellow-haired guy next to Li muttered. For real, these are like, supermodel level. Big stars aren't this gorgeous. A green-haired guy added. Ahem, Li cleared his throat. Okay, scratch that. They don't have to leave. We'll just eat with them. My treat. Who do you think you are? Kiss snapped, her temper flaring. Well, aren't you a feisty one? Li leered at Kiss, having to admit she was a total babe. What are you staring at? I'll gouge your eyes out. Kiss shot back, disgusted by his creepy gaze. I'm Li, and I don't scare easy. Go ahead, try it. If you got it in you, I'll let it slide. If not, you're coming with me tonight. Li was a guy you didn't want to mess with. The manager was terrified of him because he'd beaten up several groups in the restaurant and had a reputation for being ruthless. He'd been in jail a few times, but always got out quick. This restaurant was his favorite haunt. Over time, the staff knew him well and were scared of him. I'm gonna tear your mouth off, Kiss seethed. Nobody talked to her like that. Fighting is just kissing, arguing is love. Come on, baby. Li's tone was crude. Fine, Kiss said, grabbing her phone. She was seriously ticked off. Calling the cops. Li finally saw so many pretty women, he wasn't about to back down. If the cops showed up, he'd have to leave. Li lunged and snatched the phone, smashing it on the ground. Give me back my phone. Kiss didn't call the cops. She was calling someone else. Li, don't make a scene. I'll get them another room right away, the manager pleaded. He knew Li's temper. He was crazy and fearless after just getting out of jail. The manager wasn't scared for him, but of him because he'd been sent straight to the hospital by Li and was too afraid to get revenge. Nah, I'm a law-abiding citizen. As long as they have dinner with me, we're good. Li grinned. Don't be such a jerk, Xue Chuan stood up. He'd held back at first, knowing Kiss could handle herself, but since they broke her phone, he figured he had to step in. Oh, look, a tough guy, Li sneered, eyeing Xue Chuan. Xue Chuan pulled Kiss behind him. He was tall, easily a head taller than Li, and looked intimidating. We were here first. We're not giving up this room, and we're not drinking with you. Xue Chuan stared Li down. Kiss glared at Summer. Aren't you a man? Don't just stand there. You okay? Summer asked lazily. You're not a man. Kiss huffed. You haven't seen my body. How do you know? Li finally noticed Summer. Seeing he hadn't stood up, he nodded approvingly, then turned back to Xuechuan. What if I make them drink with me? Try it. Xuechuan stepped forward. Li smirked and kicked Xuechuan in the gut. Xuechuan doubled over, clutching his stomach. Li grabbed a chair and slammed it into Xuechuan's back, quick and brutal. Xuechuan. Tang Yen and Kiss rushed over to help him. Humph, big guy, but all talk. Li's attacks were notoriously dirty. Li, I'll pay for your meal today, okay? Just chill and let them be, the manager begged, seeing someone had been hurt. Nah, not even if God himself showed up today. Li was smug. You'll regret this, Kiss spat, glaring daggers at Li. Xuechuan struggled to his feet. He was in decent shape, otherwise that blow would have crippled him. The man who can make me regret something hasn't been born yet. Need some help? Summer smirked at Kiss. Whatever. Kiss shot back. Fine by me, Summer shrugged. You. Summer, don't mess with Kiss. She's always been good to me, Yi Qingxue interjected, knowing Summer's capabilities. Alright, if you say so, I'm in, Summer nodded and started walking toward Li. Punk, looking for a beating? Li sneered at Summer. What was that? Are you screwed up in the head? Li snarled. Chapter 59, Zhu Liang Strikes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xia landed a kick square in Li San's gut, then grabbed the stool and slammed it into his back. He was mimicking Li San's earlier attack on Xuechuan, but this time, the stool didn't hold up. It splintered into pieces. Third bro. Li San's crew rushed to his aid. Xia's attack had clearly landed. Li San's back felt like it was on fire. Another inch higher, and he would have been out cold. What were you saying? Say it again, Xia said, casually pulling up a stool and taking a seat. You little punk, you dare hit me? Li San struggled to his feet, feeling like his body was about to fall apart. Boom, star. As Xia stood, another stool connected with Li San's back. Ack! Li San screamed. Third bro. Several thugs stepped in front of Li San. Say it again, Xia said, a slight smile playing on his lips. Get me out of here, Li San groaned. It was just a cheap wooden stool from the restaurant, but man, did it sting. His buddies hauled him out. The restaurant manager, meanwhile, was speechless. Li San was a known bully, always harassing people and hitting on the waitresses. But this skinny student had just handed him his ass. Huakist and Tang Yen stared at Xia with wide eyes. Li San, who had been so aggressive moments ago, had been taken down so easily. Yi Qingxue and Bing Xian were equally surprised. Yun Miao's expression remained as cold as ever, but Linger watched the scene with clear interest. You okay? Tang Yen asked Xuechuan. I'm fine, Xuechuan said, shaking his head. He hadn't expected the attack to come so fast, and it had caught him off guard. Can we eat now? I'm starving, Xia asked the manager. Yeah, sure, coming right up, the manager stammered, snapping out of his daze and hurrying away. Huakist picked up her phone from the floor and dialed a number. Find Li San for me. I don't want to see him around anymore. She hung up. The words were simple, but everyone in the room understood their meaning. Huakist was furious. Li San's days were numbered because he'd messed with the wrong person. Well, that was a bit of a hiccup. Hope it doesn't ruin your appetite, Huakist said casually. Doesn't matter, just get the food here quick. Xia hadn't eaten all day and was famished. Easy for you to say. If you're so tough, why didn't you step in sooner? Huakist snapped at Xia. If he had acted earlier, Xuechuan wouldn't have been hurt, and she wouldn't be so pissed. I thought you were all that, Xia said matter-of-factly. Alright, Sister Kiss, it's over, Yi Qingxue said, trying to smooth things over. Idol bro, you're awesome. Linger exclaimed, Gazing at Xia Xia with admiration, the food came out quickly. The restaurant was popular because the dishes were unique and delicious, and the portions were generous. I hope what just happened didn't spoil everyone's mood. I'd like to start by raising a glass to Minister Yi and apologize for my behavior earlier, Xue Chuan said. He was a stand-up guy and knew when he was wrong. Threatening Yi Qingxue using his father's name wasn't a great look. Even if she had refused, he wouldn't have actually done anything to the literature and art department. It's water under the bridge, Yi Qingxue said with a smile, and drank the glass of wine. For the second glass, let's toast Sister Hua. Sorry for causing you trouble, Xue Chuan said. Yeah, Hua kissed said, nodding and draining her glass. For the third glass, let's toast Mr. Xia Xia. I, Xue Chuan, don't admire many people, but you're one of them. Xue Chuan was proud, especially when it came to basketball. He only respected those who genuinely beat him. I don't drink that stuff. It tastes like crap, Xia Xia said. Xia Xia, do you always have to be so rude? Hua kissed said, growing increasingly annoyed with him. I'll drink it for him, Bing Xian said, who had been quietly sitting beside Xia Xia. She grabbed the glass and downed it. Everyone was stunned. What was her relationship with Xia Xia? Why would she drink for him? Boom, that the door to the room was kicked open. Brother Liang, it's them. They're the ones who hurt third bro. It was the green-haired thug who had run away earlier. You dare beat up my buddy? You've got a death wish. The bald guy scanned the room, his eyes full of malice. He was briefly taken aback by all the beautiful women in the room, but he quickly regained his composure. I'm with the Hua family. If you know what's good for you, you'll back down, Hua kissed said, her voice tight with anger. I don't care if you're with the Hua family or the Smith family. I'm Zhu Liang, and I don't scare easily. I've seen it all while working with developers. I've never heard of you, Zhu Liang said, scratching his head with his left hand. He was missing his pinky finger. Why are we running into so many yokels today? Hua kissed groaned. She couldn't believe these guys. No one in Jianghai City dared mess with the Hua family, but these thugs didn't even recognize the name. Seeing Hua kissed reach for her phone, green hair lunged forward to grab it. No way you're calling the cops. You idiots, I never call the cops. Hua kissed yelled. The commotion in the room had attracted a crowd of onlookers, but no one dared call the police. Zhu Liang was a notorious tough guy. He and Li San and their crew were hired by developers. They were known for being ruthless. They beat people up right here in the restaurant once, and when the cops came and took them away, they were released the next day. Ever since, no one in the area dared mess with them. Zhu Liang and Li San had built their reputation on violence, but they were still just low-level thugs. Otherwise, how could they have never heard of the Hua family? Hey, dirtball, who hurt little three? Zhu Liang didn't want to waste time arguing with a woman. He was here to send a message, to show everyone that his crew wasn't to be trifled with. He's the one who beat up third bro like that, green hair said, pointing at Xia Xia. You guys take him, and break his legs, Zhu Liang said, waving to his goons. Chapter 60, Mysterious Marco. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhu Liang had brought over a dozen guys with him, all from his hometown. He was a country boy who never found a real job there, so he came to the city to hustle. At first, he was just drifting, but then he caught a break with Wang, a real estate developer. Zhu Liang handled a few demolition holdouts for Wang, and Wang appreciated him for it. So, Zhu Liang called up Li San and the others from back home to help him out. These guys were known for being ruthless and had solved a lot of problems for the developer. There were more than a dozen of them now. Not a huge crew, but they were effective. Zhu Liang always stressed two things, ruthlessness and loyalty. So, when he heard Li San got his butt kicked, he rushed right over. The dozen or so goons pulled out all kinds of weapons and charged at Xia Tian. Hold it right there. Someone appeared in the doorway. Looked like he was in his 20s, maybe pushing 30. Who the hell are you? Zhu Liang demanded. Who I am doesn't matter. What matters is you're interrupting my dinner, the guy said, staring him down. Listen, pal, don't stick your nose where it doesn't belong. I'm Zhu Liang, and I got connections on both sides of the law, Zhu Liang warned, name-dropping. I don't give a damn who you know, the man shot back. Whose side are you on? Zhu Liang took a step towards him. His boys moved in, ready to rumble. Hey, hey, hey. Xia Tian drawled from inside the booth. You guys got rocks in your head? You here to avenge your buddy, that got everyone's attention, even the guy at the door. Xia Tian, you lost your mind. You want these guys to chop you up? You're crazy, the hot chili girl snapped. She was hoping to call for backup while Zhu Liang and his crew were distracted by the guy at the door, but now Xia Tian had to go and get them focused on him. Xia Tian. The man at the door seemed surprised. He looked Xia Tian over, a smile spreading across his face. Punk, I was gonna let you live a little longer, but if you're begging for it, I'll oblige, Zhu Liang sneered at Xia Tian. I seem to remember telling you to stop, the man said, walking toward Zhu Liang. Damn, what's with all these people with a death wish today? Zhu Liang muttered. You said you were connected on both sides of the law, right? The man asked, stone-faced. That's right. Zhu Liang gave him a look of contempt. Ha, the man chuckled. What's so funny? Zhu Liang asked, confused. Just then, the door to the next booth opened, and 4 or 5 guys in suits and ties came out. Zhu Liang, your operation's getting way out of hand. You dare to offend my VIP guest, one of them said, looking at Zhu Liang with a cool detachment. Brother Wang, what are you doing here? Zhu Liang was shocked. It was his boss, the developer who'd made him who he was. We came to invite Brother Ma to dinner, but you had to go and make a scene, the developer said. I didn't know you were here, Brother Wang. Zhu Liang recognized the 3 guys behind Brother Wang. They were all well-known developers. He realized he'd screwed up big time. Anyone getting invited to dinner by these 4 had to be someone important. He never imagined someone like Brother Wang would be eating at a dive like this. Brother Ma, I apologize for him. Can you just let this one slide? Brother Wang pleaded for Zhu Liang. Zhu Liang was his guy, after all, and he'd always been happy with how Zhu Liang performed. I'll give you a pass this time. Tell them to get lost, Brother Ma agreed. Get out of here. Brother Wang snapped at Zhu Liang and his crew. Zhu Liang shot Xia Tian a dirty look as they hustled out. Brother Ma and the others went back to their booth, nodding to Xia Tian as they left. The booth was quiet again, but everyone, except for Xia Tian, had lost their appetite. Kiss, let's just call it a night. I'll treat you some other time, Tang Yen suggested. Everyone was too tense to enjoy the meal. Okay. The hot chili girl was fuming. She was the Hua family's eldest daughter, but she couldn't even handle a bunch of 2-bit thugs. And on top of that, those guys didn't even recognize her name. She was humiliated. When Xuechuan went to pay the bill, he found it had already been taken care of. He asked who paid, but the waiter didn't know, just that it was a friend of Xia Tian's. Why are you all looking at me like that? I have no idea who it was, Xia Tian said. Seeing their expressions, they all said goodbye. Yun Miao and Ling Er left together. Xuechuan drove Tang Yen home. Bing Xian and Yi Qingxue lived together, and Xia also planned to crash there, so the hot chili girl drove the 3 of them back. Hot chili was still pissed off. She'd had a huge fight with her grandpa about learning kung fu and got reamed out by her dad. She stormed out of the house in a rage, not even grabbing any money. She was going to ask Xia Tian for help, but he hung up on her. Jerk. Total jerk. I hope you choke on your food, choke on your drink, choke on your words, and trip on your way. I'm starving. Gotta find some way to get some cash. Hot chili sat dejectedly on the side of the road. She'd already turned off her phone, not wanting to go home until her grandpa agreed to let her learn kung fu. How am I gonna get money? Maybe I could rob someone. Nah, can't do that. I'm not gonna scare anyone just using my bare hands. What about begging? That won't work either. Besides, I don't exactly look like a beggar in these clothes. What am I gonna do? Wait a minute. Hot Pepper messed up her hair and ripped a few holes in her clothes. She stood on the side of the road, waiting. That car's no good. Too beat up. Definitely not a rich guy. Nope, not that one either. After about 10 minutes, her eyes lit up. Red sports car. That's gotta be worth $1 million or $2 million. Jackpot. Hot Pepper waited at the red light ahead. When the red sports car started slowing down, she saw her chance. Just as it was about to stop, she ran out in front of it, pretending to get hit. Cha-ching. Hot Chili grinned.